All right, down here at PAX, we're in the gaming section, back at it. I'm here with JJ of Beat. Actually, that's actually pretty good having the rhyme scheme of JJ and Beat. This is a rhythm game, but when you described it to me, it was almost like patting your head, rubbing your belly, and jumping on one foot.
Yeah. So it's a rhythm game that is also a platformer. So your left hand is in charge of the moving, and your right hand is in charge of the grooving. So it's odd to take in. It's honestly playing 2 games at once, but once it clicks, people really seem to love it. Like we've been nonstop max capacity since like we started on Friday today, or 2 days ago. I lost track of time.
And you're here in the PAX Rising section.
Correct.
Were you part of the train jam that happened? I was talking with another person that was here, just on the other side of this actually. They were part of a train jam. It's like, hey, we're gonna ride a train from here to here. We had that time to make a game, and because of that, they ended up submitting their game to this. I don't know, what was your origin for this?
Sure, yeah, so I have no idea what Train Jam is, so I've been working on this for a few years in my spare time. I was like, I'm gonna make a game in like a year, and now almost 3.5 years later, that didn't happen. But my origin story is I get bored really easy, and I need something to do on the weekends, so hence I've made a rhythm game that is also a platformer.
So why combine the two? Was there something in the rhythm game market that you were like, oh, this is lacking, I'm gonna revamp it, or what was going on?
So for me, the reason I made this is just because this is the dumbest thing. So I really liked Legend of Zelda Wind Waker for the GameCube, and the way GameCube controllers are set up is like there's little like points on which if you move the stick around it makes click-clack noises. So I would just move around the stick to the music and also push buttons randomly, and that was just fun to do along to the music. And I just turned that into a game. That's basically what I did. So.
And this is your first big title, or?
This is my first title, period. A big title is a strong word, but it's the first video game I've ever made, for sure, yeah. I'm just a software engineer that wanted to make a game in my spare time, so.
Oh, that's slick. So how's your reception been so far with this at PAX?
People, so it's a niche market, rhythm games, right? But the people that come over and say, oh my God, I love rhythm games, I have to play this, they've been loving it. They go away saying, I'm buying that as soon as I get home. So I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, right? But the reception is good, yes.
Where can we find it?
So it's on Steam. It's available for PC, Mac, Linux. It's still in early access, so I won't be like doing the 1.0 release for about a year from now. But yeah, no, if you like buying games that aren't done yet, you can get it now on Steam in early access, and the demo's free, so.
You really missed that opportunity of like going back to your roots, putting it on GameCube.
No, I don't think they're printing GameCube discs anymore, but if they were, I'd go for it, for sure.
What's your plans next now that you have this title under your belt? Are you going to make a sequel series? Are you going to do, what's next for you?
I've got about 5 or 6 ideas that I'd like to work on, but we'll see if I need a break after working on this. Not to mention there's a bit of a long tail, so based on, it's like a stretch goal. So however many copies I sell, I'll be adding more songs to the game with levels, to a cap, of course. But yeah, so I'll probably have to work on this for at least a year after release, if not more, so.
I heard you talking with another attendee about the songs that you did use in the song. You said you worked with other artists, you didn't actually compose them yourself.
Yeah, so I licensed all the tracks from free-range indie artists I found on SoundCloud and Discord. So that was a fun little gauntlet of I had to make sure I could listen to the song for 8 hours straight on loop without getting sick of it before I would even approach the artist. And some people said no after that 8-hour process, so hey, time spent, right? It's like 6 months just to do the music licensing. It's a very arduous process to reach out to people, have them not reply to you, and then keep going down your list, right? So.
Has anyone made an original track for the game, or is stuff that's already existed online?
There's a little bit of stuff planned in the background for that. I'm actually talking with one of the artists that's already on the current soundtrack to make something exclusively for the game for the launch trailer that I will also be making levels for. But all the songs are non-exclusive licenses, so the artists can keep selling them online and keep making money from their songs.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time. All right, I'm here with Abraham. He's head developer of B.ARK.
Yeah.
I was hoping you could tell us about this game that you have here today at PAX.
So it's a shoot 'em up. We wanted to make something feel classic. I played a lot of shmups when I was growing up. A lot of Super Nintendo gradius for sure. And we wanted to bring this sort of genre back and give it a little bit of a modern aesthetic, sort of like you're playing a Saturday morning cartoon.
What was the one element you have added to this game that you haven't seen in previous games in this genre?
So since we wanted to make something accessible, we wanted the co-op mechanics to be something that were very easy to discover and use often. So you get to pick up, if one of your falling teammates gets their ship destroyed, you can pick them up and they can still be in the action until their ship gets fully repaired. And that's something that we haven't seen on other shmups. There's also a fusion mechanic, so every character has its own super. And when they overlap each other, they can create some crazy combinations and melt the boss. So those are things that I haven't seen on shmups yet.
now that this game is out, what's the next step in your game career? Do you make a sequel? Are you gonna have an expansion pack, a whole new title?
So we're working on new things and new features. Like we want to make sure that there's online mode for B.ARK and probably consider it for other platforms.
What would be the very obscure, not so obvious inspiration for this particular title?
Again, I played a lot of shmups when I was growing up. So I loved Gradius, I loved Ikaruga, I loved R-Type. So I wanted to make sure that we bring out those similar gameplay mechanics and just give it that modern twist.
But when they announced the Steam Deck, were you excited for that as a developer? You're like, this is it?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I would love for more people to buy and play B.ARK on Steam, and especially on the Steam Deck. It's going to look great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
All right, I'm here at the Toxic Potato booth at PAX. Tell me about this game. We picked up a copy. We have yet to play it when we get home.
Yeah.
I did see a bit of a demo, but just break it down for us.
Yeah, so Toxic Potato is like a card game version of Hot Potato. The goal is to get the Toxic Potato cards out of your hand before the radioactive card pops up or someone plays a hazmat card and kills you. It's for 2 to 6 players, pretty fast, quick game to play. It takes 10 to 15 minutes. And there's a bunch of different expansions that build on the game, but the general idea is you want to get those toxic potatoes out of your hand before someone else tries to get the radioactive. And all the cards in the game basically let you do that. You can pass left, pass right, you can switch hands with people, you can guess and try to figure out what cards other people have in their hands to get them from you, all with that end goal of getting the toxic potatoes out of your hand.
And so how did you start coming up with this game? What was the origin for it?
So my wife and I are from Idaho. We're known for our potatoes in Idaho, right? And so we were just thinking about it one day, like, why has nobody made a game like Hot Potato? And like, that's basically was the genesis of the game, is like, we're from Idaho. There should be a Hot Potato game out there. And so we're gonna build this Hot Potato game. And we wanted it to be a little more, I guess, toxic, a little more edgy to it. So we added the toxic theme to the whole thing and kind of built it out that way.
Have you made a game prior to this before?
No, this is our first one. Yeah, so we did a Kickstarter on it in June of 2021. And we got our Kickstarter people their games as quick as we possibly could, all the backers. So they all had it by Christmas, but then when we shipped our games overseas after that, they all got held up in the port for 10 months. So we just barely got the game in June of this year, and we're just out. This is our first show.
So what's the next step? Because you have expansions. Do you plan on doing more expansions? Do you have another game coming down the pipeline?
Yeah, so we have a couple of games that we're working on right now. A couple that I think are going to be pretty fun. They're actually a couple different styles of games as well. We have a couple more card games, and then we have a couple of group party games that we're looking at as well. But in the meantime, we're just getting Toxic Potato out there as best as we can and trying to get it to as many people as want to play it.
And how has PAX been treating you? How's the reception here?
It's been awesome. Yeah, I mean, people here have been amazing. It's just been great to be able to play the game, demo it with different people, and just share the experience together. It's been a lot of fun.
Every time I pass by, there's always a crowd of people wanting to play it, or they are playing it. So how's the reception been for this game back in Idaho?
Yeah, so we did a show in Boise, the Gem State. They had their own show there, and it was a lot of fun. We got to meet with all the people there in Boise. I love my home state of Idaho, and you know, it was the reception was great with it being a potato game. Everybody kind of understood the concept and appreciated that we were trying to bring something to the state that hadn't really existed before. So it's a lot of fun.
When you get that like Wisconsin cheese game coming out, or
yeah, that's what we got to figure out. If there's anybody from Wisconsin out there, hit me up. Maybe we can make a cheese game together.
Thank you so much for your time. All right, here at PAX Day 4, we're at the Goat Simulator 3 booth. I want to know all about this. Actually, tell us about yourself first. Who you are, what your role is, what your involvement in it is in Goat Simulator 3. Maybe even 2 and 1. I don't know your CV just yet.
Sure. I'm Santiago Ferrero. I'm the creative director on Goat Simulator 3. And yeah, we've been part of the development since Goat 1 with all the DLCs, and then now with Goat 3.
Okay, so as creative director, how do you make, I guess, how did you make this origin happen for, like, let's play as a goat and let's do whatever we want? How do you reach that?
So the first game came out more as from a game jam. So it wasn't our studio that did the first one. It was our sister studio, Coffee Stain Studios. and they were trying to figure out what to do after Sanctum 2, and so they were playing around with some stuff, and they came up with the idea of being a goat just for fun, and then they released the video, and the reception was wild. So they decided, okay, we have to make something from this, and they did a really short, like 3-month project, released it, and it blew up, and then we got part of the project and started doing a lot of DLCs and just expanded the whole universe of Goat Simulator.
So tell me about your personal role in this. I guess, what does your day-to-day look like when you start, like, hey, we're gonna go in this direction, we're gonna do this? How do you make those hard decisions?
That's a really good question. It's this project is very creative, and we want the whole team to be part of the creative process. So it's a lot of brainstorming, a lot of just having fun, prototyping a lot of different things that can, a lot of goat gear, a lot of events, just see what can we do with the Goat Sim world. So that's like a lot of the big part of my job is just brainstorming what is fun, and also the other thing I do is a lot of scripting as well. So I'm really deep into the production of the whole game as well. So yeah, it's mostly brainstorming and being creative, and that's where all these weird stuff come from.
Is there anything that you personally came up with that just didn't make the cut, and you're like, one day we'll get it?
Oh wow, I don't know what to pick from. There's so many things, and that's kind of like the beauty of this game is that it's hard to say no to things because everybody comes up with ideas. There's humor that everybody can enjoy. So if you don't like a certain type of joke, around the next corner there's a joke that you will appreciate. So we kind of just cram in so much, and of course there's so many ideas that couldn't make it due to time, but after release we'll see what happens.
What's your plans after Goat Simulator 3? Are we going to get a fourth one? Are we getting a new IP? What's going on there?
We actually have not planned anything after release. We're focusing all our resources on this. We've been working on this for 5 years, so it's a little baby that we're like getting ready for launch. So all focus on release right now.
And what's your release date?
November 17th.
Everything's coming out. Yeah. November 17th or 15th. Yeah. What's going on?
Pretty crazy.
I feel bad for your competitors.
And we're coming out a week after God of War, so.
Oh.
Yeah, poor them.
Yeah, everyone's gonna just be like, I'm done with this garbage. What systems can we play this all on? Or maybe the better question is, what system can we not play it on?
Well, it's coming out on PC, on Epic exclusive, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S.
Okay. Why'd you go the Epic route as opposed to maybe just doing it on your own site or via Steam?
We have a really good connection with Epic. They both with Satisfactory and then now with this. And of course we're a small team, so all the money we can get is
I heard Epic treats you good in that regard.
Yeah, definitely. But of course we want to be everywhere. We're a small team, and we want to Goat 1 was everywhere on mobile, on Switch and everything. So of course that would be the dream. So we'll see what happens after release.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.